Okay, Amit, Vancouver Airport Services has a long-term relationship with city infrastructure investors, which is an interesting model, and it's quite different to the way some other operators and infrastructure investors have come together in this industry. Maybe you could explain the rationale for that structure.
Sure. It is quite a unique model, and so the rationale for that, historical rationale for that, was Vancouver Airport Services was investing capital from its sole shareholder for a while, which was Vancouver Airport Authority.
Yeah.
Vancouver Airport Authority, even though it's a not-for-profit organization, was limited in the amount of capital that it could invest outside of Vancouver Airport. And as Vancouver Airport Services started to look at larger opportunities, and as we sort of grew our portfolio, we realized one of the lessons learned was that in order to really drive value, you need to have operational influence, and you can only get operational influence, true operational influence, by having proper governance and having larger equity stakes, meaningful equity stakes.
Yeah.
As we were looking for additional equity capital, city infrastructure was a perfect fit, given their philosophy in driving value, long-term investment holder horizons, and a particular focus on OECD, which is where the company was starting to evolve. Vancouver Airport Services was starting to go towards. Yeah. So it was a great fit. It is an old-fashioned 50-50 JV.
Yeah.
We've got two shareholders, and it's worked out really well because both are aligned in their objectives, in what they want out of their shareholding in Vancouver Airport Services.
So it's a long-term partnership.
It is a long-term partnership,
and very synergistic by the sounds of it.
Absolutely.
How do you think that helps you position collectively? Others in the market approach things on a project-by-project basis. Presumably, this means when you got into the relationship, you had very clear ideas on both sides as to what sort of transactions you would and wouldn't do. Are there any conflicts that you've seen in terms of the alignment objectives on a continuing basis, or were you already very familiar with each other's strategies, so that was already worked out through the original JV?
I think both the Airport Authority and Airport Services are quite circumspect in their approach. Both organizations had a risk management culture that when we looked for a partner, when we were looking for a partner, the Airport Authority was looking for somebody that clearly had proper alignment, and had the same sort of long-term objectives for Vancouver Airport Services, and CII was that partner, given that CII's approach was to, again, put in large amounts of equity to build a platform and use Vancouver Airport Services as a platform. So what the partnership has created now is we are now City Infrastructure's global airport investment platform.
Right.
And we're fully aligned in terms of our value objectives.
Yeah.
Throughout the organization, from the shareholder level all the way through, Vancouver Airport Services and the rest of our portfolio.
Yeah, interesting. And I guess one of the first transactions you've done together, or perhaps one of the biggest, I don't know which is the case, is the acquisition of Peel Airports Group last year.
That's correct.
In the UK. Perhaps you can describe, from that experience and in that transaction, has it turned out the way you expected it? Is the operation what you expected? Where's the low-hanging fruit? Where's the things that you think have been a little more difficult?
Yeah.
And it's obviously the first test case you've had in your JV.
That's a good question, Justin. Peel was an interesting transaction for us, an interesting acquisition. We acquired 65% of Peel Airports Limited, which was the company that held interest in 3 airports in Northern England: Liverpool, Doncaster, and Durham.
Yeah.
What we found, though, the management style that the Peel Group had was a very different management style than what we brought. Peel Airports were a very small part of Peel Group. Right. Peel Group essentially were a developer, real estate developer, and so a lot of the practices that they brought into the airports were, from sort of their leasing and development business.
Yeah.
So, for example, just one example of that, and it's a pretty significant example, is that most of the non-aeronautical concession agreements, they weren't really concession agreements, they were actually leases.
Right.
So they would run the non-aeronautical side of the airport as a shopping mall where they would have lease arrangements with the various vendors. What we did when we came in, we took over an existing program, which was called the Retail Development Program, which essentially shifted the landside-airside boundary to create additional non-aeronautical or additional retail space at Liverpool Airport. And in doing that, we transitioned all of those leases, renegotiated them essentially into concession agreements, which are more typical in the industry, and that we've seen the real benefit of that. So, over the past year, we've seen some incredible increases in spend rates because of our active management style. We've been able to actively manage the delivery of goods and services on the non-aeronautical side, which has clearly been reflected in the yields that we're seeing.
That's really interesting. I mean, that's slightly surprising actually, because you'd think that it was a concession-based model for commercial income would be well known enough.
Yeah.
But demonstrates that if you're coming at any asset class without the right experience, then there's to put it simply, there's money that's left on the table.
Yeah, so. It really does. It really does. And things. I mean, just various things. So just simply security processing. I mean, and as you know, it's well known in the industry that if you increase dwell time, you increase spend rate. So what happened was that under the old sort of Peel ownership, one of the things that a lot of UK airports do is they try to sell what's called a fast lane product to process passengers through security, at a faster rate, and costs £3 every time you use the fast lane, etc. Well, because we linked passenger processing and passenger facilitation, and linked that directly to the quicker we process passengers, the longer dwell time, the longer we have for passengers to dwell, the less stressed they are, the more they will shop, and will increase our spend rates.
Especially if you've got a family.
Oh, absolutely. And so what happened? So what we've done is we've reduced the security processing times from an average of about 25 minutes to now around 12 minutes, which is now best in class for UK regional airports, moving it down to about 10 minutes on average, so the fast lane is no longer required.
Right.
We still have a fast lane, but we've seen the usage of the fast lane diminish because passengers don't need. It's not a product that they are compelled to buy anymore because they're able to be processed through security quite efficiently. And sort of, without using the fast lane. So it's had a great benefit for us in terms of, but that loss of that income has been more than offset by the increase in the non-aeronautical spend rates.
That's a good example. Amit, thank you for your time. Very interesting structure that you have in place with CII, and good luck in the future with the Peel Airport Group and how you develop it.
Thanks, Justin.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.